Chambers of the Occult may contain content that might not be suitable for all listeners. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Chambers of the Occult. I'm your host, Jay, and we have some new faces for you.
Hey. Yeah.
I'm Jay.
I'm Jennifer.
I'm Joey.
And I'm Lolly.
And this is not our typical setup because this is a fire pit table. If you're watching on YouTube.
If you have visuals.
Yes. And if not, you can imagine it. Yes. Because this is a Friday the 13th episode. Yeah. Yeah,
Hell
first one of the year.
First one, yeah.
This year we have 3 Friday the 13th.
Oh, that's right.
Which
yeah.
I thought it was just like 1 or 2 because I thought it was just 1.
Mhm,
Yeah, that's like
mhm.
last year.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think last year we had 2,
Yeah.
didn't we?
No, it's not.
One. I think we only have
Last
one.
year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought I was like, okay, this year we're gonna have like 1 or 2, and then we have 3.
Yeah.
We have 3.
This is
Yeah.
the Friday the 13th year.
February, March,
March,
November.
yeah.
Halloween.
And Halloween.
Oh, is that what we're calling it?
Yeah.
I call it Halloween.
Okay. Yeah. So this is being recorded before Friday 13th.
Yes.
So we can
Yeah.
release it Friday 13th. Are you working Friday the 13th?
No, because I specifically asked him no.
Wait, no, I thought you were.
No, I was, but then I told him again, no, never mind, because of the whole podcast. So I was just like, just in case.
Wait, so you're not?
I'm not working Friday 13th.
Oh, wait, but that's Valentine's Day.
Well, Valentine's Day, yeah, I'm working Valentine's Day.
It's the same day.
Is it?
Yes, we just said that.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Hold on.
Wait, you're
Wait.
talking about Valentine's
Times
Day?
Day.
Saturday?
Yes.
Yes.
But you're talking about
Okay,
the Friday.
okay.
You're
Yes.
talking about the Friday.
Friday the
Friday
13th.
13th, and then the Saturday is the
14.
14th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So
That's how
Valentine's-
months work.
Are you working Friday the 13th? Yes.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, it's from Friday the 13th.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. And then are you working?
I have no idea.
Okay, that's
I check my schedule the night before as I go to bed
okay.
to see if I need to wake up.
Got it. The
So-
reason we're discussing our work schedule is because we 3 of us work at the Winchester Mystery House. Joey is there seasonally.
Yeah.
As a scare actor.
Honorary member as well.
Yes. Yes. You have been there 2 years, right? 3 years?
I'll probably say 3 years.
Yeah.
What was the first year that you were there?
Ooh, probably. Actually, no, probably longer than that. I think probably since like 2023
Was that
for Unhinged. What was that? 2023.
was that housewarming?
I think it might have been Housewarming.
Was that the one with like
Housewarming and Hotel.
Monster Miles?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, good. So those are the ones
Okay.
that I worked
Okay,
behind
so yeah,
the
3
scenes for.
years.
Yeah.
Okay, 3
Okay.
years.
Yeah.
So housewarming, hotel, and then 13th floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The reason we're discussing this is because sorry, we want to share for the Friday the 13th personal paranormal stories that we have experienced at the Winchester Mystery House. Because who better to share those paranormal stories than your tour guides?
Yay. Oh, no.
Well, yeah.
Your tour guides plus your scare actor.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw on the news, but I remember he was on.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true.
Famous.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly why we dragged you here.
Yes, exactly. For the
Oh, no.
publicity.
We've seen you with makeup. Now we've seen you without makeup.
Yeah.
I know it's scarier without one.
Yeah, I forgot what year, but I've been there almost 5 years. It's going to be 5 years this year.
Yeah, that's
And
same
then-
for me. Almost 5 years.
Yep,
For
and then
me, it's almost 3 years.
almost 3
Yeah,
years, and then
yeah.
with you also 3 years.
Three
These
years.
two
Yeah.
as well. Okay.
Yeah. So we're still there.
We're still there.
Nothing has scared us off.
Yeah. Well,
Brave or stupid, take your pick.
Nothing paranormal has scared us away. I will leave it at that.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember like your first paranormal experience?
Oh God. I feel like I like to discredit my first paranormal experience because, you're fresh, you're green, you're new, you already have the perceptions that this is a haunted place. So anything that happens, you're like, is it haunted? Is that the ghost or anything?
Did you go like to work? Like, did you go into the job with your expectation that like this was like a haunted place?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I kind of was like, okay, this technically is said to be haunted. Let's see what happens. And so I I always discredit my first experience because I'm like, I could just be like too excited, too ready for something, and I am just too ready to believe that it's a ghost.
Mhm.
So I discredit a lot of my first experiences.
Okay.
Well, I guess if you want to know which one it is, funny enough, it's so I was learning the information for the tour. And as you're kind of learning the information, walking through the house, so you can, put that information to a physical place. I swear that I heard whistling in like a staircase, and it was actually the switchback staircase. And it was just like this, like very, very, like kind of just, casual whistle. And I'm like, is that somebody there? And I look down there, I don't see anybody down there. Go all the way back down, all the way down the switchback staircase, and nobody's in the carriage entrance hall. So I'm like, okay. But again, I just credit because I'm like, oh, maybe it's new. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, it was something that was like, oh, did I hear something?
I don't think we've had like tour guides that like actively whistle.
No.
Oh, I'm the whistler.
Wait, are you?
I am. I do whistle in the house.
Okay.
I do. But
But like that day it
but
wasn't
that day
you.
it wasn't me. That
Okay.
wasn't me.
Okay.
See, I guess the ghosts, just reflect who you are. Yeah.
Does that mean okay. Well, okay. Okay. So like that's one of like your earliest ones.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then like Joey, did you have any working as a scare actor?
Not necessarily as a scare actor, but the only one that I can think of, at least off the top of my memory, was I was visiting the property one day to visit Lolly, and I was down in the basement, and I'm exploring, just minding my own business, trying to be on the good side, not, anything, especially because Susan was there.
Mhm.
And I'm exploring, and I'm talking to, I don't remember who it was. I just know that they were in the basement, and Susan comes up to me, and she's like, "My flashlight just died on me." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And she looks at both of us, and she's like, "I technically shouldn't be telling you guys this or having you guys do this, but come with me, follow me." And of course, we're in the basement, so we go down, what's it called?
Steam Alley.
Yeah, Steam Alley, and she takes us down there, like,
Oh
all
my
the
gosh.
way, and she has a MagSafe flashlight, and she's like, "All right, check this out." She puts it on, like, one of the corners,
Mhm.
and, of course, like, she just puts it on full blast and everything, leaves it there, and she starts asking questions, and, of course, it slowly starts dimming, and I'm just
Mhm.
like, "Hmm, alright." Of course, ask more questions. She's, like, asking, "Can you turn it off?" Doesn't turn off until, like, 5 seconds later, just turns fully off.
Yeah.
Asking to turn it back on, turns back on, and then, like, it barely starts dimming again on its own. I'm just like, "Huh, alright." So, I don't even know what to make of this. Yeah, it's a
Ooh.
ghost. Exactly. See, as soon as you started talking about it right there.
Yeah.
But,
Oh.
yeah, that so far, that's the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head that I've experienced
Uh-huh.
there. So, do you have anything?
Lala is like, give me the mic.
She's like, "Alright."
So I talked to him before my first experience where I actually saw something, and ever since then I had never saw anything else. So technically, it's like the only one where it's like I saw something.
Mhm.
So as funny enough, mentioning from kind of go off from what you said, where it's like when you're first working there, you kind of expect it to happen. I kind of had the opposite mind, where it's like I don't really expect anything to happen because I already gone through like my fair share of like haunted areas, especially like in Mexico and stuff like that when I visit family. So I'm like,
Mhm.
I already know
Mhm.
what true haunting is.
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't think anything can top that. And so I started working in Winchester.
Okay.
So what happened was that I believe it was around like my second week working as a tour guide. And this was still during the time where I technically explored the house, but not enough to the point where it's like I knew every like little corner yet. Cause obviously you already know when you're first exploring the area, you don't look at every single little place because of course there's tours happening. So
Yeah.
you kind of
Yep.
avoid areas. So this was my second week doing tours, and it was still during the time where like I didn't have anything on me. So of course I felt so underdressed, thinking about it because like I didn't have like my little keys or anything where every time you hear me
Your
pass by.
accessories.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
accessories,
Yes.
none of that. So it was just me plain, and I was just like, it's so weird thinking about that. But anyway, so clearly I was going through the house, going through the hayloft, going through like the 13th bathroom, going up, and then we finally hit to Sarah's bedroom. And clearly I was standing like right in the middle, clearly before they told us not to stand there anymore. And I was standing right where like next to Sarah's portrait. And you know how there's like that little room corner where it shows like the fireplace, and now how there's like the little like wall right there in the corner.
Mhm.
During that time, I did not know there was just a wall there. I just thought there was like a little opening in there.
Yeah.
So clearly I was talking during my tour and just saying like, yeah, like this is what happened to Sarah. Like, Annie passed away and everything. And then I felt like someone was staring at me, but I was just like, okay, it's just the people, because obviously it was like I'm talking to people. It was like my first like
Yeah.
time talking to people. Like
Yeah,
at least
my
with this not-
people that
My-
I'm giving the
Yeah.
tour to
Tours
are looking
too,
at
yeah.
me.
So I was just, but it felt different. It felt like something else was staring at me like somewhere else. So I was
Okay.
like, kind of a weird feeling because I was like, okay, like maybe this is just the the nervousness of like
Yeah.
still talking to people because barely my second week, and
Okay.
like so obviously I was like I haven't really been scheduled, so it's like I'm still getting
Still
used to
getting
it.
used
Mhm.
to
So
it.
that's what I thought, but no. So I continued talking, and then immediately some part of me was telling me like kind of look to the side. So I was like, I looked to the side, and I'm not joking. So there's a part that kind of like freaked me out when I was there. So during that little corner, I swear I saw someone like actually like half of a face looking at me.
Oh
Like
my
I genuinely
gosh.
saw something like actually look at me, which I thought, I was like, no fucking way. And, and immediately I was just kind of like, no, I was like, nah, I'm not, I'm probably seeing thing. And I was like, maybe it was another tour guide. Cause again, I haven't explored the house. So I thought it was another tour
And
guide
at
that was
that point,
there.
you didn't know that that was a wall.
Exactly.
Yes.
I did not know that. So obviously I was like, okay, maybe it was a tour guide that I caught in the middle of it cleaning. Cause clearly I was already told that like when we're cleaning in the house, sometimes
Kinda
we hide in
Hide
the
from
corners.
tours.
Yeah. So we don't see us. So immediately I was just like, I looked and I was like, okay, it's probably another tour guide. So I was like, that's kind of weird. But I was
Do you
like, whatever.
remember if it was like a woman or a man?
It was a man.
That
Okay.
was a
It
man.
was a
Okay.
man. I remember specifically had like the curly black hair, almost similar to
Oh, okay.
how Mateo had it.
Uh-huh.
But
Ah,
not exactly. So
yes.
immediately I was just like, okay, like, maybe it's like Mateo or someone that kind of looks similar to him or something like that.
Yes.
But that's all I remember. It was just like the black hair.
By the way,
and
we're
like
going to be making references to
Yeah.
previous tour guides.
Yeah. Sorry, I
But
forgot
yes.
about that.
No, you're
Okay.
fine.
But it was one of our older leads. But I thought it was like maybe someone similar to him that I haven't met yet. Obviously,
Mhm.
'cause I'm still
Mhm.
new there. I don't know everyone yet. So clearly, I was just like, okay, cool, like whatever. And then immediately I continued talking, and I was just like, okay, like I need to check. I need to stop my tour because I'm just like, I don't like this
Yeah.
is not making me feel comfortable at all. So immediately, I'm not joking. I stopped in the middle of my tour and I was like, hey, let me go check on something really quick. I go to the corner and I just saw a wall, and immediately I was just like,
Hmm.
okay, let me go back. So I just continued my tour, but the whole time I'm just like, there's no way. I genuinely saw something
Yeah.
at the house, and that was the only time I actually saw something.
Really?
Ever since then, I've been having like small paranormal experiences of just like the lights changing or like lights
Yes.
flickering and stuff like that. But like at that point, I'm like, oh, it's a generator. Maybe it's like the footsteps
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Right.
But sometimes I'm just kind of like, maybe I did see something, but at the same time, I'm just like, there has to be, because like there's no
Yes.
way I saw it in broad like daylight, like half of a
Mhm.
face staring at me, and that's it. So I was just kind of like, and I saw a wall, so I was like, how
Yeah.
else can I explain
That's
that?
so odd.
That's so
So that's
odd.
like the only time I ever saw something. Ever since then, I haven't seen anything else, but I've seen like not seen, but I've experienced like small little things here and there. Where I'm just
Yes.
like, okay, I could tell it's the house, or I could tell it's like, okay, that's
Yeah.
something should not be happening here, because I've worked here long enough to know the difference between someone walking, Susan, or something else.
Yeah.
Yep.
Susan's our manager.
Yeah. Yeah. Susan is our manager. We'll keep
And
referencing,
just thinking of the way that the house was built, because it was like always under construction.
Yeah.
At some point, I'm imagining that like that was the end of the house,
Mm-hmm.
or like at
Yes.
some point there was like a hallway there, and that
Yes.
wall
Yeah.
did connect
Something.
somewhere else.
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe at some point there was
Yeah.
a hallway there, and at some point you could peek through that area,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and at some point like now it's just a wall.
Just-
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if you think about it, it goes into like the little room in between the 13th bathroom,
Mhm.
Sarah's bedroom, and there's like that little area. So
But I mean, at
Yeah.
some point that window did look outside
yeah,
before
Yes.
the bathroom was
Mhm.
built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking too. But it's like, who knows at this
Yeah.
point, like how exactly it was before anything, and like,
Mhm.
what
Yeah.
changed and what didn't change. But overall, it's just one of those where, like, who
You feel like-
knows?
It's I will say, like, seeing a full, like, not a full body, but like an apparition
Yeah.
of like a person.
Mhm.
It is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It is actually kind of crazy.
See, my first experience was not an apparition, and it was not whistling, but it was a whisper. Or like half a whisper.
Oh.
Because I was, you know how like they send you to like when you're a new tour guide to like shadow other tours?
Yes.
One of the first tours that I shadowed was Roxy's,
Okay.
another tour guide. And in the carriage house, as the video's playing, telling Sarah's story, I was standing next to Roxy, and I don't know where you guys stand while the video's playing, but Roxy stands like still next to the button and she like looks at her group. So I was standing next to Roxy and I heard someone whisper on my right ear.
Oh, by the wall.
Yeah, like there was like probably like 5 or 7 feet of like nothing before like the wall. And then I heard someone whisper on my ear, Winchester, but not the whole word. It faded. It was like they ran out of like energy or they got tired. It was just like Winchester. And like that was it.
Oh.
Yes.
Winchester.
Yeah.
Winchester.
And like I just like look and like when someone whispers, it's like very distinct because like you like you will flinch
the
or like
breathy air.
Exactly.
Yes.
So like I turned and I looked and like there's a wall and like of course like everyone is like enthralled by the video that's playing about Sarah's story. I look at Roxy, she she's just like looking at her guests. The tour wraps up at the end of the after like an hour, and then I asked Roxy if like she heard anyone. Like, if she said anything in the carriage house, she said no, and then I told her what happened, and, like, I don't remember her response, but, like, she was not aware of anything or anyone saying anything there, and after, like, almost 5 years, I've stood in different places in that room, and it's never happened again.
No Winchester.
No Winchester. Yeah. And no Tur either.
No sandwiches.
They never finished.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's the thing I also noticed too is like every time you have an experience at the house, you never re-experience it again.
Yes,
ever.
that
So it's like
is-
a one and done, and that's it. So then that
I
makes
agree
you
with that.
question of like, did it really happen, or is it just something where it's just expecting it to happen, so it happened, but then you never
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not heard the whistling ever since.
You have become the whistling.
I have become the whistling. Exactly.
Yes.
I have face for you.
Yeah.
I have become the whisperer.
Yeah, very
No, I genuinely have.
Have you become a flashlight?
You're right. Wait, no, because it scares people in the basement.
That's true.
Okay.
Yes, that is
And
true.
you have become in the face or like the half a face? No, because now that we said that, I was like, like outside of the seance room and above like the 1906, the post-06 kitchen, there is that like window on the floor, that really big one that we went to see for the holiday party.
Yes,
Okay, so and then you can look at those bars in the seance room.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so one day I was sent up there to do cleaning. Omar just gave me like the master key, and I was like, haha.
You're like power.
Sorry. So we usually get free room of the Winchester house when we're cleaning. They usually tell us what areas to clean, but when Omero, one of our leads, gives us the master key to go clean specific rooms, we get really excited because they're not part of the route. They're not part of
Yeah.
like the usual areas. But I got the key, and then I got to like stand outside of those bars, and Milo had just wrapped up his speech in the seance room. And you guys know who Milo is. He's been on the podcast.
Yes.
But Milo had just finished, and his guest just walked out, and Milo was just ready to leave the seance room. And I just whispered, Milo. And Milo does. And Milo is someone that does not believe in the paranormal
Yeah.
at
He
all.
does not.
So like this like man just like looked around, and like at first he tried so hard to just remain calm. And then like he opened the seance room like entrance door to like look out there. And then I said it a second time, and he really looked concerned until he looked out the window and saw me. And then he just like cursed at me and was like, "What are you doing out there?"
You should have disappeared.
I kind of wanted to, but at the same time, I was like, I can't do that to this man. I can't.
Oh my god, I could actually see Milo express in
Yeah,
that
me
way.
too.
Yes. Because once again, I was like, this is someone
He
that,
just
like,
said that like
I mean, I can't be the man. Like, I can't be the reason that he believes in the paranormal when, like, it's not a paranormal thing.
Oh my god,
It
that's
would
crazy.
It
That
would be a
would be
great
that'd be a
story.
great
Exactly.
story.
He would be like, yeah, like all my guests left the
I
seance
think you
room,
would
and
have.
then I heard someone say my name.
I think you would have made him a believer.
Oh, yeah. There you go. That's how you convert him.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I feel like that brings us so like a lot of I would say like at this point a lot of tour guides have seen a doppelganger in the house.
Yes.
Surprisingly not me.
Huh?
Surprisingly not me.
Wait,
Well,
you
seen or
really?
heard. Seen or heard.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
No?
Cause Joey knows this. I can pick up any sound, who it is.
Yes.
And cause like I guess like that's how in tune I am to like everything. So every time that I'm going through the house, I can pick up like, okay, it's this person, this person, this person.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like I've never heard like any other person that's not supposed to be there not be there. Cause then I'm like, okay, cool, like I think it's Jem. And then later on, I'm like, okay, cool, I was right, it is Jem.
Yeah.
And same thing with Susan's keys and all that. So for me, I'm like, I feel like I'm like the only one that haven't heard like someone else or seen someone else yet. And the whole time I'm like, I really wish I get to see a doppelganger. I mean, the only time I actually saw a doppelganger, it wasn't at Winchester. It was when we were out together when I thought I saw River.
Oh, you
Oh.
did tell me about
Yeah.
that recently.
Yeah.
Where was it at?
Okay.
It was like at a tattoo parlor that we went to. It was supposed to be like a goth night thing because obviously
Yeah.
we're goth people. We wanted
Yeah,
to
and they
look
had the mask and like
Yeah.
the
And
hair.
exact same everything. And I showed it to River. Even River was just like, it looks exactly like
Oh my
me.
gosh.
And I'm just like, yeah, and that's the only time I saw a doppelganger, but sadly it wasn't at Winchester. So
Mhm.
I want to see a doppelganger at Winchester.
Yeah.
But I know for me, I'm harder to caught because I always wear a hat and my little key.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Who have you seen as a doppelganger at Winchester?
I haven't seen, but I
Okay.
heard. So I was doing cleaning crew, which, for those who don't know, it's like a nighttime deep clean of the house. And I was doing cleaning crew with our lead Freddie and another tour guide Jesse. And there was other people there too, but they're not important right now.
Oh, so this was a while back.
This is a while back. So
Okay.
yeah, this Jesse was still working at Winchester. So it was kind of getting towards the end of the shift, and Freddie was starting to go through the house to start closing things down. And we were kind of following her around. She kind of realizes that she had left a door up on the third floor by the base of towers opened, and so she kind of says, hey, can somebody go up there? Me and Jesse were like, yeah, sure, let's go up there. So we go all the way up there to the third floor. We close the door. Absolutely nothing happens. So we go back downstairs thinking the rest of the group will be down there as well. And we're by the carriage entrance hall. And me and Jesse are like, you know what? We're the only people inside the house, you know, and they should be in here too. So we just go, hello, hi, hello, where are you? And we hear Freddie's voice. And you know how she does like that really cutesy, like, hello? Like,
Yeah.
you know, the
Like,
meme
hello.
voice, the whoa, you know, the Discord kitten voice, you know? So we hear that and we're like, okay, there's Freddie. And we hear her by like the back porch steps.
Mhm.
So we walk in that direction and we don't see her, but we look out into the almond courtyard and we see her and Mateo and everybody else of cleaning crew out there
yeah.
in the almond courtyard. And we're like, oh, okay. So we go out there and then like Jesse and I are like, hey, we were calling for you. We heard you, like, why did you like leave and stuff like that? And they're like, what are you talking about? Like, we've been out here for a good while. And we're like, we heard Freddie's voice
In
just
that
now.
area,
We
yeah.
were saying hello. You said hello back. And Freddie, you know when like, you can tell what she's like. So like you can tell like, but she's like genuinely like kind of distraught and like really freaked out by this. And she was like, no, that's not me. And we're like, yeah, we heard your voice. And she's like, oh, I don't want to think about this. And so
Yes.
so like me and Jesse both clear as day heard what really sounded like Freddie.
Mhm.
And it's funny because like the next day, Mateo actually came up to me and he was like, so you were joking about the whole thing with Freddie's voice, right? And you know, Mateo is an absolute skeptic. So
Yeah.
he was like, you were just trying to pull a prank on Freddie, right? And we're all like, no, we like genuinely heard her kind of thing. And then that's kind of what made me be like, oh shit.
Like
Yeah.
that was
wasn't her.
real.
Yeah.
That was something else imitating Freddie's little hello voice, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, the doppelganger does the hello. So yeah.
Wow. No, the one time I did see a doppelganger would have to be when I saw Will. He's now one of our leads, and I was given a mansion tour, and I got to the 3rd floor. We just got done with the Daisy. We're taking the staircases to the 3rd floor, and I see what looks like Will in the low ceiling hallway, hunched over because he's a tall man, tall, lean,
He's a
white
very
man.
tall man.
I even thought you were going through the house.
He's like what,
Honestly.
6'1", 6'2",
I think so.
6'3"?
Yeah, 6'3".
Yeah, because I'm like
6'3".
6 feet and he's taller than me, so I'm like, you're like 6'2", 6'3". And he's like hunched over with a broom and a dustpan, and like he's sweeping the 3rd floor, like the low ceiling hallway. The low ceiling hallway is called the low ceiling hallway because there's a low ceiling.
Yeah.
If the name doesn't give it away. And like, haha, tall man sweeping a low ceiling hallway. Wrap up my tour, and then I text him. I was like, haha, just saw you. And then he replies, no, you didn't. And I'm like, yeah, like you were sweeping the low ceiling hallway. And he's like, check the signing sheet. And then check the signing sheet. He was not in that day. Because he said something along the lines of like, unless you're at my other job, because this is when he used to work at his own escape room.
Yeah.
He was like, unless you're at my other
Ah.
job, no, you didn't.
Oh, so he was still at
At his,
the escape room.
mhm.
Okay.
And now he's
And now
lead.
he's a lead.
Yeah. That was like probably the only time I've seen a doppelganger. And the one time I think I heard one
Mhm.
was also the 3rd floor, actually.
It's always
Yeah.
the 3rd floor.
The 3rd floor, like where
Yeah.
things happen.
Oh, mine happened
We'll
on
talk
the
about it
1st
a
floor.
Because like when we're going down the hallway, there's that so many doors there don't have doorknobs.
No, they don't.
Um, and I was open as a new tour guide. Maybe not that new, maybe like a year into the job. I was opening or trying to open one of those doors. I think the one, not the elevator shaft, but maybe the one before it.
Okay.
And then I think like I got it open or something happened. And then I think this is when Teresa, our lead, was still there.
Mhm.
And then I swear I heard her voice, like in that area, which would only make sense if she was like in the base of tower area,
Mhm.
because she would have been able to see me from that area. Um, she was not
She
there.
was not there.
Came back to the 1st floor. She was sitting behind the desk because she was lead at that point.
Yeah.
Just weird things that just don't make sense.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Because I know Joey's a little bit more of a skeptic.
Yeah.
She's into like a lot of like haunted.
Have you had experiences like outside of Winchester?
Outside of Winchester,
There you go.
Ooh,
honestly
okay.
my most, well, for Lolly at least,
To me, it is.
the most notorious one. I can't remember exactly what age I was. I just know that I was at least probably like 4 or 5, maybe. This was during the time when the hospital in Morgan Hill was actually still a hospital.
Oh.
My
What is it
grandpa was
now?
there. Now it's just regular medical offices.
Oh,
Okay.
Used to be an actual working hospital. We were visiting my grandpa there, and me being a kid, not wanting to, just stay put, I wandering off, making sure that I wasn't bothering anyone, but walking off. And I remember wandering into one of the hallways, and it was one of those hallways that sounds so cliche, where it's like half lit, half dim in a way. But
Ah.
I just remember playing there, minding my own business, when I look down the hallway and I see a tall black mist just shoot across from one door to the other.
Oh my
Like
god.
literally, it was where it's like dark enough to where you can see through it, but not fully, right? Like
Mhm.
full on thick mist, and literally just shoots across at full speed. And I'm just, being a kid, I'm like seeing that, and instantly I'm like, nope. I turn straight back around and go to my grandpa's room.
Okay.
And my family's there, they're doing their whole thing, and I'm just there, just quiet, like
Did you not tell anyone?
I didn't tell anyone for the longest time until probably later that day or even the next day, and I was just like, "I saw something."
Okay.
I don't know. And everybody that I tell that story to, they're like, you saw that at a hospital. It's a thick black mist. It shot across like crazy. Did you see death itself or just like a patient or what? Because, it's at a hospital. There's
Yeah.
death every single
Yeah.
day.
Uh-huh.
So it's like being a little kid, and, everybody knows that, like, or at least a lot of people know that kids and animals are more
Susceptible to it,
Yes.
more
to
open.
the paranormal
Yeah.
stuff.
Uh-huh.
So being a kid seeing that, I'm just like, did I see death itself? Or at least some type of like patient, staff, something, anybody who died there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like one of my most like one that really sticks with me.
I can
Mhm.
only, when you describe that, I was picturing of like a Death Eater, like
Oh.
Oh,
when they,
yeah.
when they like break a window or like
Yeah,
run into like
yeah,
a,
that's-
yeah.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
that's kind of what I picture because you're like just something like fast and like
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
a mist
Yeah,
type of
mist.
thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
Huh.
definitely see that. But that was
Yeah.
definitely very something interesting that I, even to this day, I'm just like,
Hmm.
I
I
saw
mean-
something and I still can't make of it, but it's definitely very interesting.
You were young enough to like they
Exactly.
said to like be
Yeah.
in that age range.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm pretty sure you're young enough to like you haven't really been exposed to like
Mhm.
anything like that. So at least you actually have like a pure like just,
Pure,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
like an actual like opinion of like, oh yeah, this is like not something I've seen in the movie or anything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, you actually saw it with your eyes.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
as
Yeah.
far as I know, I know I watched horror movies since I was 2 years old, but nothing like paranormal wise. It's always just,
Oh, it's like
slasher movies or
slasher
something.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, seen those from being small infant due to my cousin. But like never exposed to anything paranormal or anything like that. Never seen any deaths in the family before that. And so that's why it's like Wally said, pretty much fresh. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
just like, all right, interesting. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
never saw it again.
Never
So
did.
that's why I'm just like,
Hmm.
definitely would make sense about the kid thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a like experience at the house like 3
That's
years
right.
ago.
Yeah.
Like, and I think you had like a story that correlated to the
It was
probably
like I
the
think
reason
it was like the
I
same
saw
day.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had like two separate experiences, but like kind of similar,
Yes.
but also like
It happened this like
same. Like I would say
you
within
did
the same
something
hour.
that same day, and like
Yes.
maybe that's
Yeah.
why I saw it.
Yeah.
So this was what 3 years ago, maybe
Yeah. 3
4
years ago.
So
4 years. I'm gonna say 4 years.
4 years. So
Yeah.
this was during Halloween or Madame Nightshade's Curse. That's the Halloween show that year at Winchester.
Mhm.
And then I was playing Miles, and I was stationed in the Hall of Fires with Sabina. And the way that the Hall of Fires was built is that it's a long hallway. It's basically 3 rooms, and there's gonna be 4 fireplaces. There's 1 fireplace in the first room, 1 in the center, and the last one has 2 fireplaces in like opposite sides. And I was a scare actor in that room with Sabina, and it was a slower night. I had just come back from my last break. I was around 10:40, 10:50, and I sent Sabina out on her break. She goes on her break, and I look out one of the windows. The way that the Winchester house is built is that sometimes you look out one window, and rather than looking outside of the house, you look into another room or you look into a wall. Well, when I looked at that window, I looked into, I wouldn't call it a drop because there's like boards, but basically a maybe extension. And then after maybe like 10 feet, 15 feet,
Yeah. Something like that.
there's
I
another
think.
window, and that's a hallway leaving Sarah's bedroom where you were
Where I was
stationed.
stationed as a scare actor.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
were Little Mary that year.
Yes. Yeah. Little Mary, little girl. I am a petite person.
And we would talk and mingle when the night got slow,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and basically the chisme.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because scare actors got all the chisme.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt.
That is true.
But that night you were not there.
Yes.
You were on your
I was on my lunch or
break?
break. I think it was my break. I'm
because
pretty
it was
sure it was
like
my
towards
break.
the end of the night.
Yes.
Yeah. So I moved the curtain to the side, and you're not there. And I see a tall silhouette of what appears to be a shadow. Almost as if someone walked by and the like shadow just stayed behind.
Mhm.
You know how like in Peter Pan, like you see his shadow? That's kind of like the best way I
Yeah.
could like describe it. Um, but it looked like there was someone standing there because in that hallway, if you kept looking straight through it, you would see the nurse's station.
Mm.
And there was light in the nurse's station, and that person was blocking the light, part of the light coming from the nurse's station, as if like a normal person was standing there. So I thought that there was a person there. I can't make out their facial features or what they're wearing. I start squinting my eyes because I thought it was a maze host, or like another scare actor.
Mhm.
Can't make out their facial features. So that's when like I'm still not processing that this is a shadow figure. So me as a character that would die in a horror movie, I start waving at that shadow figure from my room, from this window, and hoping that they would get closer to the window. Maybe some light would hit their face or like them, and I would see who they were. There's no movement whatsoever. So I take out my phone, turn on my flashlight, and as soon as the flashlight turns on, that shadow figure disappears from the room entirely. I can see that hallway. I can see past that hallway, and I can see into the nurse's station. Turn the flashlight off, and interestingly enough, that shadow figure is still standing in that hallway, still blocking the light from the nurse's station. Like there's physically someone there. Um, Still not moving, still can't make out anything from them. So I turn the flashlight on a second time to confirm. Shadow figure disappears from the room. Turn the flashlight off. Shadow figure still in that room, blocking the light coming from the nurse's station. Um, I'm not freaked out because there's like 10, 15 feet of nothing between these two rooms.
You got 2 windows.
I got 2 windows. There's a drop coming down. You know, yeah. It's also not moving. Maybe if it moves, I might freak out. But I'm intrigued, and I'm thinking to myself, like, as soon as I run away to find someone, it's going to disappear.
Mhm.
So there's a little chair by that window. So I pull it up and I sit by that chair, looking out the window, hoping that someone walks by. Of course, we need someone to walk by. No one walks by. Eventually, I kind of like give up and I like stand up and I like walk around, hoping like someone's nearby, come back to the window. It's still there. And I'm like, great, but like I can't move again. Eventually, Sabina walks back from her break, and then I bring her to the window, and it's already gone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So
Of
yeah,
course. Yeah.
of course, you know,
Of
like
course.
you're there just like mocking me, but anyway,
They know.
We're doing.
yeah,
They knew. You know you're alone.
exactly. And then eventually you came back from your
Yes.
break,
Yeah.
which I'm like, of course. And that's when like I asked you if like, hey Jennifer, was anyone covering for you?
And I was
A
like,
scare
no.
actor, maze host,
Nope.
and you're like, no. And rather than tell you what happened, I'm like, can you go ask around? Because the closest person to you would have been Brian, in the bear costume
Yes.
in the room next door in the sitting room.
Yeah, and he was, I can't remember exactly
Mhm.
that night, but I do remember him. He was either on break with me
Mhm.
or he was in a completely different room, not nearby that window.
Yeah, but I also like logically I knew it wasn't Brian because even if he was out of the bear costume or even with the bear costume, his silhouette did not match what I was seeing.
Mhm.
So like the only logical response was that like it was a maze host.
Right.
But you asked around, you said
Yeah.
no one was in that hallway, and then I told you what happened, and and then you were like, "Yeah, I'm still in here for another hour" or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And
Yeah.
then you ended up telling me a story. I think
Yes.
either that night or
was-
like after the shift.
This is where how I feel like I have a really bad memory when it comes to things. But basically, that same season, I can't remember if it was that same night or it was another night for that same show. But basically, it was towards the end of the night. Things were starting to slow down. And the way that I was stationed in my particular room is people would come straight towards me. And then I would scare them into around the corner because I was stationed in the sitting room.
Mhm.
And there's one door frame in front of me, which is how I know people were coming. And then there was a door to my right that I would jump through to scare because people think, oh yeah, you got the good scare there, and then you get scared there again. And then that goes into the seance room. So I have where I was positioned, I have a really great vision of who's coming in from either from Sarah's bedroom, from the hall where people were coming from, or if anybody was in the seance room.
Mm.
And so I'm just there waiting for anybody to show up. And I hear a crash within the seance room. I look, I'm like, just quickly just turn my head to look. There's absolutely nobody in the seance room. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. And I go over into the seance room because I'm like, okay, I kind of want to know what this is. And when I walk in, a little bit of context. At the time, the seance room had little candles with that were kind of hung up on screens there, and they would have the little tea light candles on top to give that illuminated effect. And so I walk in there. All the candles are perfectly still, except for the one directly above the door, and it's swinging like crazy. Like full on, somebody had knocked this candle with this large pendulum, basically. And the tea light candle that should have been on top was in the opposite corner of the room. And I was just like, what the heck? Like, I haven't seen anybody like pass by the room for like the past 20 minutes and nobody was in the room when I heard the noise. And I'm like, oh my God, did I just hear like somebody knock this candle off of the candle, basically? And I'm just like, okay, that's kind of crazy. That was kind of a crazy night, if I remember, like kind of going back in time and stuff like that. The Brian, who was my scene partner for that particular haunt, had said that he had seen shadow figures in the room that I was stationed in too as well, and he thought he had saw like my shadow there, but he didn't. He said he wasn't sure. He just thought it was me. So like that particular night, things were kind of going off on like my section of the house, and which is why I'm thinking it might have been the same night of your thing, because it was that was just such a bizarre night too. It was just such a weird night. So. But yeah, no, I had a candle fall like right next to in the seance room
You
next to me.
also, I don't know if it was that same day, but you also told me I might be making up this story, or I might have imagined this.
Yes.
But did you end up going to see like a graveyard or like a tombstone for like a horse?
Oh no, I think you're misconstruing something else.
Okay.
So,
This got clear.
I
Like
think
earlier that day or something, or a day after.
I have to figure out because it might have been when one of the horses that my family has ridden for a while had passed away.
Yes.
I can't remember if it was 3 years ago.
Mhm.
I know it was during when I was working at Winchester.
No, yeah, because
so
then, go ahead.
it might be that's what you're thinking, that
Yes.
it might have been pretty recently after that horse had passed away. This was an old horse, by the way. He was like 30 years old, and like a month before he had passed, he had almost bucked me off when I was riding him. So he was a bit of a punk. So, he was a diva.
Okay.
He really was. Yeah, I wonder if that's around the same time. I can't remember. My memory's
I
bad.
remember you brought that up. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe
I
that's
don't know
what
if
it
it's like
was.
because like it followed you home, or like it followed you to work and then followed you home, or
Wouldn't
something
that be
like that.
crazy? That horse is the spirit of the horse follows me to work and then just kicks a candle. That'd be he was really pissed off about that candle.
I mean, can you imagine how excited the ghost house would have been? Like, oh my god, there's a
Oh my
A
god, a horse! Actually, it's funny that you say that. There was do you remember when that medium from that came did like a weird seminar for all the tour guides
What?
for the Walk with Spirits? When the Walk with Spirits tour was starting, then they brought those two mediums who recorded the audio for the table, the fake seance thing.
I didn't hear.
So yeah. So they had this weird
I don't think I was there for that.
I wasn't there, but
I went to it because I was just like, sure, let's go see what these seance not seance, but these mediums would say. What was very weird is so we were there and they did this weird exercise where they're like, okay, close your eyes, imagine your favorite room in the house here and just picture yourself in there. And so I'm like, we're doing this exercise, and then she like randomly when the medium is like, is anybody thinking about a horse? I'm getting a picture of a
I was
black
there for
horse.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was there for that.
Yeah. So, and that was me, because when I was sitting there thinking to myself, imagining myself in the the South Conservatory, and I was thinking about like a horse walking through this horse. And so then she was picking up something up what I was thinking there.
I realized the image was like
Yeah,
so large that just took over.
yeah, yeah, maybe. I don't know. And she's like, I'm getting horse energy. And I'm like, I know this is making me, this is making me sound like a horse girl, but
In reality, you are a bird girl.
I am a bird girl. So, but yeah, that was a weird thing that had happened.
Mhm.
I still think about that occasionally. But yeah, no, yeah, that was a weird night for
Yeah.
Halloween. Yeah.
I remember when Vic was still a lead that he would say that sometimes the house would get like upset during Halloween.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, the house has a different vibe during
It
Halloween.
depends too, because especially me working at least like the haunt and also being there like at nighttime, you can tell when they're like pretty chill and when they're like, get out. I don't want people in here anymore.
Oh,
You can easily tell, because at least that's one thing about Winchester, at least being there, is like poor guys, you can actually tell the difference of like, okay, cool, like I feel fine in here, and then sometimes you're just like,
there's
no.
there's times where they make you feel sick. Like they genuinely kind of. There was funny enough, going back to that Halloween that I actually worked as a scare actor, the room that I was stationed in was a room that they had opened up specifically for the haunt, and
Yes.
normally during the daytime it is closed.
It was the doll room
And
at the time.
the doll room. So yeah. So the very first night that I was working there, I was getting so incredibly sick. I was getting like the room was spitting. I was getting like that vertigo feeling. I felt like I was going to throw up. And at first I was like, okay, it has to be with all like the lighting and the sound and the music and whatever. And I was just like, but there was like this little thing in the back of my head that was like, well, what if it's a ghost? And so I was just like, well, it doesn't hurt if I just say this out loud. You know, if it's a ghost, then sure. But if it's not, you know, nothing's going to hurt. So I said, so whoever's in this room, I know that you probably are not used to having people in here. And you probably don't want me to be in here. I'm technically have to be here for several hours, and I'm going to be here for several nights. I'm not doing this out of any disrespect with you, but I also kind of have to be here. And you know, if you're making me feel sick, I don't really appreciate that. And I'm sorry that I'm here, but like, just please don't make me sick. Honestly, it would be better for both of us if we just kind of like are chill about this.
Mhm.
And I'm just trying to do my job, basically. And then funny enough, I think like a few more minutes later, I started feeling a lot better. And for the rest of the season, never got sick in that room. So, yeah.
At least you established
Well,
boundaries.
Yeah. I mean, I did get sick. I got like incredibly sick, but that was because of like a horrible cold.
Yeah. So haunt. If
Yeah.
one person gets sick,
Everyone gets it. That
Everyone
one
gets it.
was so bad. I lost my voice for 2 months, basically.
Oh.
So it was bad.
Usually that happens. That's one thing too when it comes to, funny enough, what I mentioned earlier about the third floor too as well, where it's like when you get like that feeling. So every time whenever they make us feel clean, for some reason they always put me on the third floor, or they always put me like in spaces where I always heard from other people too as well that they don't feel comfortable being in there, but for some reason I'm just like, yeah, sure, I'm fine with being in there.
Yeah.
And every time like I'm in there, I'm there for like a long period of time, like over an hour, especially when it's like super slow. Like they always make me do it
Yeah.
every time. I'm just
Mhm.
like, I wonder why they're putting me in here. So, but for some reason, the third floor for me is very notorious for like every time I'm in there, I always feel super uneasy until I start playing some type of music on Spotify. So
I
Mm.
think you have told me
yeah.
this.
Yes,
So
yes.
so that's one thing where when I was talking to my guests, but before I talked to my guests about like the story, just to make sure, I was like maybe it's just me feeling that way because like I know there's something in the house, but I always say it to myself first, and then later on, after experiencing a couple times, I'm like, okay, now I can talk to the guests about it because at least I have proof that like, okay, it's happened more than once. So every time I'm on the third floor when I'm cleaning, I always get this like really heavy feeling, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's just this one section. Let me go somewhere else. And no, it's like the whole like third floor, like low ceiling hallway area. It's always that area that just makes me feel like something's in there, and it's just like, hey, why are you in here? So the whole time I'm just kind of like, okay, like, I'm like, "I'm just doing my job." I'm like, "Your coworkers respect my boundaries." 'Cause
Yep.
that's one thing I always tell the guests, like, every
Yeah.
time when they come, they tell me, like, if I've experienced anything, feel anything, I'm just like, "Yes," and technically they're my coworkers because they live here in the house, so
Mhm.
we're working together. They're not getting paid, unfortunately, but you know,
Let's
but
be real. I'm doing the job you can't do anymore. Let me do it.
Yes.
it's just like, "Hey, I'm doing the hard labor while you just chill and relax and just scare people if you want to. Whatever you
Yep.
wanna do." I'm just like, but technically they're our coworkers at the end of the day,
Yes.
because
Mhm.
even though we don't know their names, we know that there's something in there with us.
Mhm.
So every time I'm in there, I'm sweeping, I'm cleaning, and it gets like too quiet and I have that feeling, I'm just like, let me just play some music. So I always play some music, and every single time I play music, and I'm not like flexing or anything like that, but I always have like Spotify Premium, so meaning I can play anywhere, like even no internet or anything like that,
Mhm.
because especially if I have it liked. And every time I've gone to other places where there's no signal, my Spotify is fine.
Mm.
But for some reason in the house, every time I play it, it always gets frozen in that song, and then it just goes to the next song, but I can't touch my phone at all. It
Yeah.
does not let me go anywhere else. And the whole time I'm
Mm.
just like, I can't tell whether they really like that song and they don't want me to skip it,
hmm
or it's one of those where it's just kind of like for some reason that house is just like, hey, just keep it like this right now.
Yeah.
And there's been times I played like podcasts. I also played your podcast too before. And I play podcasts, music, and everything, but every single time I'm playing something in there, it always stays stuck every single time on the third floor. So every time I'm just like, maybe I'm thinking about it in their perspective of like, I'm here for the past 100 or so years. I haven't heard a single thing from the outside world. This is the first time I'm actually hearing like genuine
Let me
music.
listen
Let
to
me
the whole
Yeah,
thing.
it's like this is the first time I'm actually hearing like genuine stuff outside besides just hot and like whatever
Mhm.
news is out there.
Yeah,
It's like,
because
Yeah.
every time that tour guide comes up here, they say the same
over and
thing.
over again.
Yes.
That actually
Well,
makes sense.
Yeah.
that's actually really funny because I have an experience up on the third floor related to music.
Mhm.
So, this was when it was during Flashlight tour, and Amaro, it was me and Yasmin, and I remember Amaro was telling me and Yasmin to look for Susan in the house. We all didn't know that Susan had left early, so me and Yasmin were looking up on the third floor looking for Susan, who wasn't even there, and so we're up on the third floor and because I believe during Flashlight Tour when the music box used to work, um, it would play like that old-timey opera music and stuff like that. And so that was off during Flashlight. So when we walked by that room, we were hearing it being played and we're like, "Oh, that's kind of weird." And so I walk inside the room, and for context, this is the staff parlor room. And so when I walk into the room, the music stops as soon as I step in. And I kind of turned to Yasmin and I was like, well, that's kind of suspicious timing and everything. And when she was like, she's like, really, did that just happen and everything? And we were kind of like talking about it. And I kind of made the joke and I was like, well, this is their break room. Maybe now that the house is closed and all the guests are out, maybe they just want to listen to some music before they go to bed kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so we kind of turned back into the room and we're like, hey, like, sorry for disturbing you guys. We're going to leave. You guys have a great rest of your night. And so we walk out of the room, and as soon as we both leave the room, we hear the music box starts playing again.
Oh.
And we're like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And Yasmin's getting really excited. So she comes back in and she's like, okay. And she like pulls out her phone and she's like, like, oh, like, can you like turn it on and off? It stays off basically. So we get really excited. We find Amaro and we go, okay, Amaro, this was really cool that this just happened. And so he's like, okay, let's try it out. So he turns off all the lights, goes into it's Amaro.
Yeah.
And then he goes, we all go into the staff parlor room and we're all just staring at this music box and we're like, hey, can you turn this on? Like we want to listen to this music with you. And Yasmin actually has her phone like recording too as well, and it actually turns on. And we're like, oh my God, that's really cool. And then it turns off. And then I go, I'm like, oh my God, it turned off and stuff like that. Like, it was really cool because it was just like, we would ask it to turn on and it would turn off, turn on. And then we would ask it to turn it off and it would turn off. So it's just like the flashlights, but with like the music box. And this is when it was still working. And so it was a really, really cool experience with that music box there. So
It's the one
cool.
in the corner,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like
yes.
the disc player.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think it
yes.
was you that I heard over in the radio or someone recently.
It turned on
Yeah.
recently.
And
I'm the one that called it.
yeah, I
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
This year.
Yeah,
This
it
year?
was literally this year, and I remember, I don't know if it was like the tour right behind you, or it was like 2 tours behind you, but I remember it was like basically about to come up soon. Like after
Yeah.
you said that, I think I was just like, I get it.
So it recently went on.
Yes. So
Okay.
so what ended up happening, I'm so glad that you talked about that because I was like, mhm.
Yeah.
So I was given the tour. We got to the 3rd floor and I told guests, it's like, yeah, feel free to step in there, the staff parlor. And I think it was like 2 girls that walked in there and like the record player, the music box like turned on
Oh my
and like
God.
the girls walked out and they're like, that thing just like the music just turned on. And I was like, oh, I was like, it's not supposed to do that. And so like I told him, I was like, I'm gonna call this in. So like I grabbed the radio and I called the guide station and then like I don't know if it was like Olivia or Freddie that
Freddie.
replied. Yeah,
Yeah.
Freddie. And like they responded like in a very way, like in a typical way of like, thanks. And I'm like, oh, we'll go turn it off. Yeah.
I remember them saying like, "Oh, that's cool," and then they were like, "Okay."
Yeah, yeah. In like a much more of like, we'll go take care of it type of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously they didn't, because by the time I got there, I was just kind of like, I still saw it plugged in and
Yes.
everything.
Eventually they went up there to unplug it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So by the
Yeah.
time I got there, it was still plugged in, and the whole time I was like, I hope.
Yeah.
You're
So
like,
so it was
"Oh,
still on
yeah."
by the time you got there, but not like
But I
on
But
didn't
yeah.
and
get
off.
it, and that's when when
Yeah.
like those situations, every time when there's like anything happening in the house and like someone hears it from something, they all get so super excited. I'm just
Me
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
too.
finally something
But
here."
Yeah.
because what Olivia told me was that it was motion censored. It's not
It's
motion.
not. It's
It's
not.
not motion
No.
censored. I was 2 years ago. I was working there as the invisible man in that room.
Uh-huh.
I was walking back and forth, back and forth. It's
Yes.
not motion censored.
Yeah.
It's
Because
not.
we don't have that type of technology at the house.
No, we don't. We don't.
It's a typical music box. You plug it in, it starts playing. You unplug it, it stops. That's all.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I really wish we had that music back in there, because that's at least one thing I always say is like, I wish we had more music, more stuff in the house to kind of make it feel alive, and also
Yeah.
like whatever's in there doesn't feel like it's just silence. Because
Yeah.
imagine just being in there and just complete silence.
I
so
know.
like there's music again in the house again, like alive.
Ugh.
That would have
Yeah.
been nice.
Yeah.
But hopefully that's their way of saying like, hey, play music, please.
Yeah.
I feel like I inspired them. They're like,
Yeah.
you know what? Let's put some like Selena or something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I know it's funny. That's funny that the music box strikes again.
Yeah.
I had no idea that
Yeah.
happened with you guys though.
Yeah, yeah, no, that was with me. Actually, a little brag of fame here. Yasmin actually had submitted this video to the Watcher's Dead Files
Mhm.
with Shane and Ryan, and that particular video actually got featured in the episode of the
Oh,
Winchester Mystery
really?
House. It's like halfway towards the end of the episode,
Yeah.
and you actually can hear in the video me going, "Oh my God, it turned on." So that's like my brag of fame.
Heck
there.
yes.
But
Take it.
but it's Yasmin who was the one who submitted the video, and she's the one
Mhm.
who filmed
Yeah.
it. So
Yes.
yes, but
And it's a mirror who turned the lights off.
Yeah.
yes, and there was a mirror who turned the lights off, basically. Yeah. Yes. And it was my voice who said, "Oh my God, it turned off." So we all had a part in it.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it's yeah. So that video, I think that was like it was a Friday the 13th, I think, in January.
Was it?
I think
There you
so.
go. Come full circle.
Actually, full circle. I
Uh,
think it was a Friday the
I
13th
wonder what's gonna
on
happen this Friday
January.
the 13th.
I know.
Either they're gonna be really pissed at us, or they're gonna be like really happy that's like really.
I know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's either or.
Yeah.
I mean, it is Valentine's Day and it's Friday
Yeah.
the 13th.
They're like,
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
isn't, I forgot who it was that mentioned it, but like that, I think it was Olivia that mentioned that technically this person in the house has a bedtime.
Yes.
Every time when we do a paranormal investigation in the house,
Yep.
the very
After.
first tour, it's always like something
On it.
active,
Yeah.
really on
Yeah.
it. Even I have a story about that too, which I'll say.
Yeah.
But it's always on it. But then by the time it goes to the second group, like more towards the end of the night, it's just like pun intended dead.
Yes.
And at the same time, there's like really nothing going on
Oh,
at
yeah.
all, and it kind of feels like okay, we kind of hyped it up for nothing because
Honestly, though, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Victorian ghost, you go to
I
sleep when the sun goes down. You gotta get sleep because you wake up when the rooster crows.
It's like
Exactly.
10 o'clock, 11 o'clock is when they go to bed.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, if you think about it in their point of view, if you're doing the paranormal investigation, you get the same question every single
It's
time.
kind of annoying. Yeah.
Sometimes I think about it because we've held 2 paranormal investigations to the public at the Winchester House.
Mhm.
2 years ago, it was with Taps, and last year it was with us as the ones running the paranormal
So fun.
investigations.
So fun to run
If you
that.
folks would like to come and have a paranormal investigations run by us, right into the
Yes.
Winchester House, let them know that
Please
you
let
want
them
the tour
know.
guides to run them.
Please.
Next time too, if you go, please ask questions. You're paying a lot of money to be there.
Yeah.
The worst
Please
thing
don't
you
sit
can
in
do is
silence.
just the worst thing you
Yeah.
can do is just sit there and be quiet. Because that's one thing I noticed what people do. Like they're just like so like concentrated in it, but at the same time, it's like ask questions. They wanna
Also,
interact
the
with you.
way I see it is that I don't know, there has to be a better way to do like overall paranormal investigations because the way I see it, it's like we're a group of like 15 people. How big were the groups?
It was like 20 people,
It was like
20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like let's go with 15. Like we're a group of 15 people. We're in a circle and we're asking questions. Imagine you're a ghost and 15 strangers are around you asking you questions. Like
Yeah.
what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was just like not obviously like we stay away from like the more personal questions like how did you die,
Yeah.
but like what's your name? And it's like who are you?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously like we introduce ourselves, kind of like we
Yeah.
did with you guys right now. It's like I'm Jay.
Yeah.
But I was just like, what's your name? Like or like
Yeah.
what was your favorite
I
food?
think it would be funner if it was just a little bit more of like an intimate where it's
Yeah.
a little bit like you have a group of, let's say, maybe at the most 5 or 8.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think that's because actually I think that would be a great way to talk about our next stuff is the stuff that happened during our paranormal investigations.
Ooh.
But like a lot of the stuff that had happened that was really, really cool for me happened when the guests weren't all in the room or like there weren't two. So some of the rooms you actually got to separate and it was just only a few of us in
Yeah.
the room that had some really great experiences. But
Yeah.
I think you were saying you had a few of those too
Yeah,
as
I
well.
do.
Yeah.
Especially, I remember it was 2 years ago actually when it was like the most active I've ever seen it. I think the one from like last year, it was kind of active, but not as much as like 2024.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Because I think that was like the first one where I'm just like, oh my god, there's like actual
Mhm.
like they're like I could tell like they're like really interacting with the people. For some
Mhm.
reason last year, I mean, of course, there wasn't really that many people talking, but at the same time, it was one of those I was like, okay, at least I know they're still here. They're
Yes.
still here
Mhm.
with us.
Yes.
But at least the one that I can think about was the time when we did hide and go seek in the A-frame room. So
Oh yeah.
so
I
that
heard
was the
about
one.
this.
So that one's the one that I was there. I forgot if there was like another tour guide, but I know it was like me and Olivia the first were there. And obviously it was like the first room of there. And I know the A-frame room is very like notorious for being like the most like active out of everything. Cause I mean for me personally, like every time there's something in that room, especially during haunt, every time something is in there, it always gets moved, touched, like broken, something always happens in that room. So I like to personally believe that there's nothing in there because of that.
The
Mhm.
A-frame room, folks, it's on the 3rd floor. And
Like right as you're going up the staircase, like
yeah.
from the daisy.
So if you ever take the mansion tour, you're going to be done with the Daisy bedroom, which is where the earthquake happens. You're going to go up the staircase, and it's going to be the first door that's like closed.
With a curtain, like a light
and it's like a
Yeah.
glass.
The mansion tour doesn't go in there,
Yeah.
but they'll occasionally use it for like paranormal investigations or like Halloween.
Mhm.
And then like there's a gable room, which is like sometimes used for like other tours or other stuff. But like that's the gable room, the one that we're talking
Just
about right
yeah.
now.
Visually think an attic space.
Mhm. Which is like because you said you were playing like tag in that room.
Yeah, we were playing tag in that
No,
room.
no, hide and go seek.
Oh,
Hide and
sorry,
go seek. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
No,
right.
because when I was doing when I did the paranormal investigations in that room, I took my group up there. April was in that room. Was also April in that room, or were you in charge of that room?
Think so. I don't remember too much. I just remember actually no, yeah, it was April's in charge of that room. I remember it
Okay.
was like the first
So she was like
round.
the room expert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it was like the first round, and the first round was like when we were taking turns before this, so I was actually going with the group.
Yes.
But then the second time, that's when I actually was like in the room. Like,
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was in the north turret.
Okay.
I was-
So April, yeah, was the room expert when I went in there, and my experience with my group in there is that we were playing tag with the with the
Mhm.
whatever was up there, because like the light was being turned on in
Yeah.
one side and like back and forth. So it was like playing
Yeah.
tag with it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's the same thing happened with me too, where someone had that idea to play hide and go seek because it was
Mhm.
like the first room of like, the
Yes.
day. So immediately we're just like, okay, cool. And it was, of course, the time when Kevin, which was one of like Michael, the old operation director that we used to work at Winchester, they were working together and he was there. He was like, yeah, I want to get inspiration. I want to see like the paranormal stuff. And obviously it was like very active. And for some reason, they really liked Kevin during that time. So it was one of those where they kind of followed him a little bit, and obviously he offered the idea of like, oh, let's play hide and go seek because there's like the flashlights everywhere. It was like
Mhm.
3 in the back and then 3 in like the other side across the room and then like other ones like across from it. So he was just like, okay, and everyone's like, but how do we do it though? How do we play like hide and go seek with like a spirit in here? So immediately there's like, okay, well let's like narrow it down a little bit. They're like, okay, like one of us goes under a flashlight and just stay there and be like, all right, go find the person. And that's how we did it.
Mm.
And I remember it was a lady that she was so like ready to just interact with the spirits in the house, but not in the bad way, which thankfully like those are the
Yes.
guests that I really do appreciate, where it's not like it's all about me. It's one of those of like, yeah, like I'm more than glad if no one's gonna do it, I'll do it kind of thing.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So she's like, yeah, I'll do it. She gets up, and I remember it's specifically you're looking into the A-frame room, and it's the one where you see like the window in the middle, and she went on the left side, like while you were facing like it, and she was standing like right under exactly where like the piano was at, because I remember there's like a piano there. And she goes under, she kind of crouches down a little bit, and she kind of, I don't know why, but she kind of hides her head over it, which I'm like, okay, even better. She's hiding even more. And immediately they were just like, all right, go find her. Immediately that thing just turns on like super bright. Like I have not seen it that bright before, especially because every time I do flashlights, it's always like very dim.
Yeah.
It's very like, okay, like you kind of see the, but that was bright.
Mhm.
And the whole time I'm just, oh my God, it's here. So we were doing that for a while. And then at some point we asked it its name, and we asked like, hey, like, what's your name? Because we had like the device, I forgot the name for it, but like actually said like words and actually says it out loud.
Oh, the Obulus.
Fabulous.
Yes.
There you go. I remember because I remember it was like one of the newer ones that we had during that time. And obviously we asked it like, hey, like, what's your name? And it said like, oh, it's I think it was like it's Carl. There goes Carl. That's because I remember I was like, it's the Carl Jr. Like Carl, right? That's the only way I can remember him. It was Carl, right? And the whole time we're just like, okay, so there's Carl in the house. And we're like, okay, are you a worker and stuff like that? And that's when we're asking it questions. And then we're like, okay, cool. So then we go to the other room, and I don't remember if it was still on the 3rd floor or it was like the unfinished ballroom, because clearly during that time, the way how like the route is when we kind of like do our turns is kind of weird sometimes. Well, I remember we were in the unfinished ballroom and we asked the same question, like, hey, Carl, are you here with us? And everything, and said yes. So I was like, okay, cool. So like, let's not ask it the same questions. Someone had the different idea, and they asked the exact same questions to Carl. And we also had like a little box too as well, like to ask it like the questions, and they can like say out loud, but it's actually like sentences. And we were in there and said the same questions. The first question was like, hey, did you work here? Did you know Sarah? By the time we got to the 3rd question, it said stop asking the same question.
Oh.
And immediately I'm just like, okay, it knows.
It
It
knows.
knows.
It knows.
knows.
He's annoyed.
This is not what did we talk about, like the 3 types of hauntings in the house? Was it-
Residual
yeah, this is not a
haunting.
residual haunting.
Yeah, this is not a
No, it
residual
was
haunting.
That
Yeah.
was, like,
This is
super
an intelligent-
haunting. Yeah.
By intelligent, it's just
And then
like
shadow
it's just normal
figures.
Yes,
spirit,
which
you know?
yes.
And immediately I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
like that's kind of weird. And then someone asked the question, which funny enough was the same lady that was playing like how to go seek with it, and asked
Yeah.
like, oh, do you know what year it is? And it said 20.
Oh, wow.
So immediately
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, all right. So now every time, I mean, at least for me personally that I do, every time I pass by the A-frame room, I always say hi to Carl.
Aw.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, hi, Carl. I'm just
Yeah. No, yeah, I would definitely say there are times with this particular hauntings that happen in the house where like they know what they're doing,
Oh.
and sometimes they have a little bit of some motives to them, but I would
Oh.
say it's more like trickster motives.
Yeah.
They are I think there's somebody, or at least some spirits in the house here that are very much like who want to see a reaction.
Oh.
And at least they do to me. But basically, when I was doing the paranormal stuff, I was stationed in the basement. And which is really funny because the only things that really worked really well in the basement for that particular night were pretty much the flashlights.
Mhm.
And though when we were setting up these things, so it was in between when guests were coming in and changing rooms, I was kind of readjusting where the flashlights were, and I had put them down Steam Alley. And at the time, we had this laser grid that was showing there. and I had just put it right next to the laser grid. And a little bit of context, which is why this is, I think, was such a eye-opening kind of experience for me. I think the laser grids, like for the longest time, was useless. I thought it was you never see anything there. I even don't even know like what was the whole purpose of it. I thought it was kind of bullshit. So I was just like, I just do not like the laser grid. And so I had put the flashlight right next to the laser grid. And usually whenever I set up any of the flashlights, just to see if it's set up correctly, I said, hey, can you turn it on for me? I just want to see if it works. And it does the little like flicker on, and I'm like, cool, it's great. Thank you for letting me know. Can you turn it off? And it does this thing where it starts flickering and it's not quite turning off. And I'm like, after a little bit, and I'm like, oh, maybe I didn't set this up right. And I'm going to go adjust it. So I walk back to the flashlight, and just as I'm about to grab it, it turns off. And in the corner of my eye, in the laser grid, I actually see something shift away from the flashlight down Steam Alley.
Oh.
Like full on with plain eyes, just see it because what happened was it was like the dots had moved, like somebody physically moving away,
Yeah.
basically.
Oh.
So that's what had happened. And I was like,
Out of all the stories we've told tonight, this was the first time I've got chills.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
This was the first time I got chills.
And it's crazy for me because I genuinely thought the dots were bullshit.
Yeah.
Like nothing worked. I was like, nothing's going to happen with these. This is so stupid. But then to physically see that with my eyes, something shift within the dots, I was like, oh, I see the hype.
Every time I see it too, like nothing ever happens.
Nothing
But
happens.
it's always the flashlights that have those reactions.
Yeah.
So I never told guests like, hey, you want an actual reaction in the house? Why don't you just bring a flashlight?
Bring a
Gosh,
flashlight,
I
yeah.
want to do another investigation now.
I know.
I did think they will bring one back this year too, especially.
They
since
better.
We gotta do our own though. We just gotta do our
We
own.
have
like,
to.
We could just go out of like to the USS Hornet or like
Yes.
That's true.
somewhere
Yes.
else.
Might as well
Yeah.
bring people with us and be like, hey, let's record here.
Yeah. Honestly, we could. We could.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How many
Yeah.
subscribers have you? You have 100 subscribers.
Yeah. No, I mean we don't need. We can just do it for fun.
No,
Yeah, I know,
Just bring the
right? Yeah.
cameras and then just upload them.
We've
Yeah.
been wanting to do too.
Yeah.
And I know one of them really wants me to go to is this acting.
Oh, the haunted museum and yeah.
And he really wants me to go because apparently there's like a room in there where it's like notorious for like women to feel super uncomfortable. Like at least I'm a little bit more sensitive to
Yes.
obviously after working at Winchester.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like kind of pick up certain things where it's just kind of like, okay, I know for a fact there's something in here,
Yeah.
but I know you have experience there. Go ahead, say something.
I mean, technically not me, but yeah, when I went to the haunted museum, I forgot where exactly in the museum it was, but it was I think it was the mirror that Bella Lugosi had.
Oh, yes.
Right on
The
the
scrying
stair-
mirror.
Yeah, right on the staircase. They're explaining the whole thing, the whole history behind that. And as we're watching the video that they're portraying, my friend and her friends say that they felt like small little scratching on the back of their neck. Like if somebody was scratching like barely with their fingertips,
Aw.
nails. But then also, I believe her friend felt something grab her calf. while on the
Oh.
I don't like
staircase.
that.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Oh.
I was just like, okay, so that's why.
That's
That's why now I'm like, I kind of want Lolly to go to see if anything, because like she said, she's more
Sensitive to
that.
it.
I want to
Yes.
see if anything, because clearly with me, like I'm not necessarily a skeptic, but where it's like
It's like an
I'm
open-minded skeptic.
open-minded to it, where
Yeah.
I'm just like, if anything happens to me, fine, by all means. But if nothing happens, then all right, that's
Alright.
cool with me too.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like the boat that I'm like. I want to
Yes.
believe, but
Yeah.
like I need some like evidence to believe.
I
Yeah.
think that's kind of where I am into as well. Like I will usually I kind of like to just say I'm like, well, if I can't make any evidence to it, it could be ghosts.
Mhm.
It also could be something that I'm not thinking about
Yeah.
too as well.
Exactly.
So that's usually the boat that I'm into. Yes.
It's one of those where it's just like, yes, but we like that, like up front.
Like,
Like,
Yep.
okay, like,
solid,
I know
yeah.
for a fact. Besides
Yeah.
like the one time where like clearly I saw like half of the face.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm like still trying to get in my head.
Yes.
Like, maybe
Yeah.
it was something.
Yeah.
Even though I saw it with my own eyes.
Even
It's
though
like,
we're sitting around a fire pit table
Yeah,
to talk about ghost stories,
We are.
we're still like, eh.
I think it's because we got so used to the house.
Yes.
Like there's some people portray like a haunted house, you think it's something crazy.
Like the
but-
films.
But then
Yeah.
every time that since we worked there and like clearly you've been there too before, like especially during the nighttime, it's one of those where like it just feels like a normal house because we worked there, we were used to the feeling, we were used to like the spirits being in there because it's like I said, it's like our coworker. But it's
Yes.
like, it doesn't feel very hostile or like, oh, I can't.
Which
No.
I really enjoy going to like different like historic locations for the first time because it gives you that feeling of like, oh, this is how guests feel.
Mhm.
Because you're like, oh, I don't know this place, or like, ooh, or like I could get lost in here because I'm like, oh, this is how guests feel at Winchester.
Yeah.
Because I think we're just so used to being there, like we just know our way back and forth, and like sometimes we just take it for granted and like go on autopilot, and it's like, wait, like this is your first time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes.
Where I try my best to kind of like get that point of view for a lot of people whenever work happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yeah, like this is the first time, like let me try to like change it up a little bit. And I always try to tell people at least like a little bit of like more like the honesty. Like, hey, if you're here to actually hear like the story of the house and actually enjoy like hearing like about the rooms and stuff like that, then come during the daytime tours.
Yes.
But you're the type of person that wants to come to enjoy the architecture and actually to see it, but not really listen to the stories. Come during flashlight.
Oh,
And I
you did.
tell 'em-
Yeah.
And I tell them that every single time. I tell them like, I swear it's not advertisement. I swear it's not. But I tell them I'm like, but it's true because it's like
It's the inside
sometimes-
knowledge.
Yeah, it's knowledge and at the same time too. A lot of people don't really know about that. So if you're the
Yeah.
kind of person that wants to hear stories, come and hear the stories with us. Each
Mhm.
story is completely different. Some people stick to the script. Some people kind of do their own thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like no one knows.
Yep. I mean, flashlight tours just started, folks. If you're in the Bay Area and you want to come visit,
It's just-
Saturday. Yeah. This
Sa-
time.
we'll give you a flashlight and we'll toss you in the house. We don't have scare actors for flashlight tours.
No, we
but
don't. We have tour guides in the house. but-
Yeah, and we are standing in the
All
corners.
dressed in black.
Yes.
I've already done my fair share of scary when I'm just standing there.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
times like this where it's like perfect to like come and just wander through the house. Like,
Yes.
I mean, follow the route,
Yeah.
but like take your time and actually like
Really
enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this Saturday, that's when we had it. Yeah, Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. Saturdays now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was talking to, well, it was a slow Saturday, but I was talking to some guests, and some of them were like, I mean, quite a few of them asked ghost stories, and I was stationed in Sarah's bedroom, which was perfect to share like the shadow figure story.
Yes. Yes.
Because I'm like, let me take you on this hallway. And I'm
Let me
like,
show you.
let me show you. This is where I saw it. And they're like, oh, so it was in this hall. He's like, yeah, but I was
Yeah.
in that window. So like, I wasn't here. But like, I was like, is this your first time here? And they're like, yeah. So like, I got to like share the story of like who Sarah was and like this is her
Mhm.
bedroom and all that stuff. But like a few of them like were visiting for the very first time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
Oh.
because like, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here for the first time, but like if you're here for the history,
Yeah.
you
This is
should have
not.
gotten a day
daytime.
ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I'm so glad that you talked to me because I will tell you the story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I think-
I'm always going to be the person that if you ask me, I'm going to tell you. And some tour guides are going to hate it, but I'm going to be like, if you see anyone with wearing like their polo with their name tag, ask them for ghost stories.
Yes.
We all have different experiences. Feel free to ask us. And I do tell them, like, we love to share them. Some of them don't, but
Yeah.
I'm just,
Hey, they're
talking out of my
they're
ass.
being paid to tell good stories. Majority of us. do.
yeah. I mean, management wants us to talk to guests.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, me personally, I love talking to guests during flashlight because it makes the night go a lot faster. Because,
Mm-hmm. yeah.
yeah, no, standing in a room all night, not talking to anybody can be a little boring, but just a little bit.
And it's also nice when, like, you're sharing, like, a
Something
story.
that's personal.
And like the story comes
Yeah.
to an end, and like the people that would just walked in were like, "Can you share that with
Yeah,
us?"
exactly.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, I'm interesting.
I'm doing flashlight. I was doing like the one where it's like the what's the red?
Yes.
I just had someone this Saturday come through like dressed as a ghost hunter. Yes, and he had his like own like EMF reader, but it was like I've never seen an EMF reader like this because it wasn't like the typical like one that you see on Amazon. It was like the upgraded, like not even like 2.0, like 3.0,
Mhm.
because it had like little wings on the sides,
Yeah,
and like they
yeah.
moved up and down, and it had a little scanning
Oh
thing.
my gosh.
Yes.
When he was going through the crystal bedroom, he literally just kind of went around a little bit, and he's like, "There's nothing in here." And then, and the whole time I'm just like, I'm like, hold, and I asked like, hold up, like, let me look at it, like, what is
Yes.
this?
Like, what is
Yeah.
this?
I wanted to ask him how it worked, but like he spent quite a couple minutes in Sarah's bedroom
Yeah.
because it was like the little wings were going up and down,
Yeah.
like it was acting up, and
Wow.
he was like, "There's like activity in this room," and then like he came with his mom,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like his mom is like an older lady, and like she was like at some point she was ready to move on,
Oh,
like
but
she
he wasn't.
and like she
No.
was ready to like let's move on, and he was like he wasn't like the whiny kid, but he was like
Aw.
the adult of like, when else am I gonna get the chance to be a real life Ghostbuster?
Yeah.
Ghostbuster, he said,
Yeah.
which I thought
Aw.
was just like, I'm so glad that like he came to have a good time and he's having a good time. But also like I didn't feel bad for him that like because his mom wasn't like rushing him because they spent quite a good amount of time in that room. And I also didn't feel bad because like they spent a good amount of time in that room. But also like Sarah's bedroom is like quite early in the route. It's like the
Yes.
first like 15 minutes you're there. So I was like,
And if they're spending that much time.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, first of all, like I wish I asked him where he got that and like
Yeah.
what, like how
We need that. We need that.
exactly.
Yeah. For science.
Yeah, but like this like flashlight tours is usually when like guests are like, don't you get scared in the house? And we're usually
Yeah.
like,
Always.
No.
All of us
No.
say like no. Like I know. I think it was Courtney that told me that she just feels uncomfortable in this house conservatory.
Yeah.
Like the what was it called again? Like the EMF.
Yes.
Yeah, that one. So I always have one with me. This time I didn't bring it with me because obviously I was like, well, I don't know where I'm located. I just
Yeah.
you know, I just put them here.
so she's uncomfortable in the South Conservatory and you think of horses.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
I love the South Conservatory. It's my favorite room.
And I mean, I really enjoy it too, especially since like you're actually in the room that shows like in the photo because there is like a photo that's after 1906 specifically. You see it in the Daisy bedroom, where with the earthquake noise and everything, but you also see it too like blown up in like the South Conservatory, and it's the one where it's like shows like the chimney collapse down, and you actually get to see a little bit of the inside, but it's so dark in there that you can't really tell. But it's like the little pots in the corner, and that's about it.
Mm.
And sometimes people like imagine like being in the room that not only did it happen to earthquake, you actually still see the damage, and you're actually behind the actual room itself where you get to see inside. Even though it doesn't have like the furniture or what it originally looked like, you're actually inside of like the actual photo itself, which is also kind of crazy if you think about it like that. Unfortunately, the chimney is not there anymore because that's covered in vines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also the room that I was like in. And sadly, the floor is still disgusting.
Oh, it really is.
But but the floor is kind of at least still there. It's still the way how it is, which I hope they kind of like at least clean it up a little bit. But other than that, like I just like talking about that room. So kind of like being like, yeah, those are the rooms that you don't always see it normally open. Like,
Yes.
during, like the daytime tours. Even though some people do remember it in the past, I always tell people like, yeah, it changes like every like so often. So if you're here, if you're gone for like a really like a long amount of time, it's bound to change at some point. But if you're here like every single year,
Yeah.
you're barely gonna see any change. Maybe
Yeah.
like a room or two, but
Yeah.
like nothing crazy.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
because I think it's
No.
just recent that we have the staff parlor open, and also the guest reception hall like the very front of it.
Yes.
It's like still pretty recent.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even though to me now I just got so used to just going around there until like the next day we're just like, oh, new route, okay.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because there's sometimes there'll be like these small changes and you just go, all right, okay, this is what I'm doing.
Or whenever like something gets fixed in the house, we get so excited.
Yeah.
And like sometimes we get the guests that will come on because like I wouldn't call them regulars, but like guests that have been to the house multiple times and they keep coming back not because like I would say like they're in love with the house, but like they keep coming back because like they have family in town. So like they'll bring their family to visit the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they have friends and we
Yeah.
get those regulars.
And then like they always go so excited, like, oh my god, we're gonna go to this room and everything, which I always appreciate.
Yeah.
Only downside though, don't say it out too loud because remember there's also other people there. That's also their first time being there.
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
But I always appreciate the guests actually want to learn more.
To learn
Be,
more.
They didn't
Yeah.
just ask the last,
Yeah.
the last tour guide, let me ask you instead.
Yeah.
And especially when we're actually able to say fun facts about the house and not just like stick with like script of the room, like facts
Yeah.
about the room.
Mhm.
That's like my favorite part too, especially when I get to the uranium stained glass windows.
Yes.
That's always my favorite part. So I always have like little like the little flashlight on it, and every time I'm just like, okay, cool, I have time. And then you go show it. Or have my little ghost
Yeah.
ghost.
That
Especially,
is true.
I always love doing that. Every time I have new ghosts, it's just like, oh, yeah, new ghosts, here you go. This is their color, and they're not jelly beans.
Well,
And actually, yeah, because every time I give it to the guests, they're just like, is it jelly bean? I'm like,
You're like, no, don't eat
don't
it.
eat it.
Don't eat
you will become a ghost if you eat it.
it. You are what you eat.
You are what you eat, honestly.
So you said stickers, then I gave out ducks. Now I'm giving out ghosts. And first it was normal ghosts, and now they're colored ghosts.
Nice.
Okay.
I don't know where it's gonna fall from there. So we'll see.
Hey,
We'll
that's
find
great.
out.
You'll find out, folks.
Ghost ducks.
Maybe when you visit, if you get Lolly as a touring guide, you'll find out.
You'll find
Yeah, you'll
out.
find out.
Sorry, I don't give anything. I give you dad jokes.
You give tours.
I give tours.
I love that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think with that we're ready to wrap it up.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Any advice we should give if they come like on a tour?
If you want to do any of those like the paranormal like equipment stuff, I think most tour guides allow EMFs
Yeah.
on tour. And I mean something that works really well sometimes pendulums work really well. So anything that doesn't make noise and doesn't distract from the tour. Most tour guides are actually really open about having that stuff on tour. I mean, myself included, and I think maybe some other tour guides kind of get a little curious and kind of take a look as well. So you're also sometimes more than welcome to share some of your findings, like as you go from room to room, while they're not really directly talking and addressing the room. So that's my advice.
Who's been a guest and seen that point of view.
That's true. Yeah.
Yes, he has.
Any advice as a guest point of view?
That's
Yeah.
true. Only advice, really, honestly, again, as they've said multiple times, if you want to know the history, come during the day. And if you want to have fun exploring the house, taking your time, go during the flashlight tour.
I just had a top of my head. I was gonna say.
That's fine. I can go. Some tips that I would give you is that at the end of the tour, I would say be sure to thank your tour guide. Like at the end, like stay behind and actually give them like a personalized thanks, not just like a round of applause.
Yes.
Like we don't live off applause like Tinkerbell. But no, like a little personalized thanks like really means a lot to the tour guides.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like telling us like where you came from, or like, oh my god,
Oh,
like
I
I've always
love
wanted to
that.
visit here, or
Yeah.
like, yeah, it means a lot to the tour guides.
Mhm.
Okay, now I remember. All right, so the best advice I can give is if you're coming to the Winchester House and you're very sensitive to the heat, avoid the summer.
Yes.
Avoid the summer.
Oh my God.
Because it is an old Victorian house. There is no like AC throughout the place. There's only like some areas that do have it, but honestly, it's not that strong. I would say the best time to come is either during December because the house is decorated for Christmas, or during around these times like January, February because it's like very, very slow to the point that you might even be able to have like a private tour if you're lucky enough, or at least a very, very small group. And usually those are like the best time to come because we actually have time to actually talk about the house and actually say actual fun facts about it.
Yep.
that we're
Yes.
able to, instead of being in a big group and trying to like make you feel rushed. So if you ever come to a tour and you feel like it's rushed, it's usually because we either are behind on time or because the group is just kind of taking their time a little too much to the point where we're just like, okay, unfortunately, you have to go to the next room and kind of
Yep.
continue on. So it's
Yep.
it's not because we want to, it's because unfortunately we have to. But always come during these times where slower times. Come during December, avoid summer because
Yeah.
do not come during summertime.
Yeah.
It's hot. But if you want to come too, feel free to.
If
Yeah.
you do come during the summer, the earliest time possible you
Yes.
can.
It will be
Yes.
packed though, but it is worth it because at least you're actually here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If like the
Mhm.
only time you're able to make it,
Is during
the
summer, yeah.
earliest time like
Yes.
time you're able to
10
book would be the best.
To any time around like 10 in the morning, I
Mhm.
guess that was
If the earliest you're able to
once you're
book
getting
is like
towards-
10:20,
yeah.
10:30,
Yeah.
10:40, do those times
Yeah.
because
anything later,
But, like,
I
feel
think.
like as soon as
Yeah.
it gets like 11:30, that's when like the house starts
Getting
Mhm.
hot.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
mean, like, take that as you will. Like,
Yeah,
if you're able to manage warmer like
Mhm.
weather, that's fine. But if you're sensitive to heat,
Yeah.
have that beer warning.
And bring
Yeah.
Please,
Please bring water.
I know we said like one tip, but now here's like a list of like
Yes.
tips.
It's true because like how often you get to tell people like, hey, like here's some advice.
hmm
Yeah.
Yes.
Tour guides, so,
Yes.
But yeah, please bring water. any time of the year.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know. I guess this is also another tip too as well. Like some people really, really like to take pictures and don't really seem to care too much about like kind of like not too much what the tour guide has to say, but like kind of just they're really here to see the house.
Mhm.
And then those who really want to see the or really, really want to hear what the tour guide has to say, stay close to the tour guide because a lot of us, when we walk through rooms to rooms, we'll give out fun facts just to fill in the space and be like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a hinge there. That's a really cool hinge with some engravings. So if you want to learn as much as you possibly can from your tour guide, you got to be sticking close to them.
Yeah.
Also, you're able to multitask as a guest.
Yes.
Like,
oh my gosh.
You don't have to wait for the tour guide to be done talking to take your pictures of the room.
You can do
You're
it while
able
we're
to
talking.
take the pictures while the tour guide is talking.
Yes,
Just
that's a
saying.
pro tip. That is a very much a pro
That
tip.
is pro-
That
Just
is-
saying because sometimes guests will wait until the tour guide is done and then like they'll start taking their pictures of
Yes.
the room and like just saying you it's not rude for you to take pictures while the tour
You
guide is
know-
talking.
There's a thing that I say on tour sometimes. I say, I'm like, hey, I appreciate you guys looking at me and paying attention to me, but you guys paid for the house. Yes. Yes.
House, enjoy like
Exactly.
the rooms. So that's why when I mentioned about like when we go to rooms, it can feel rushed. We're not doing it on purpose because like it depends on like our tour.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm like, hey, like enjoy the room. So especially if you're at the very front with the tour guide and people are still walking in, take advantage of that. That's why I tell people like, hey, look around the room, like take photos, like get close to things until like majority of people come or half the people come. Then at that point, it's like, okay, now stay like where we're
Mhm.
at, and then wait till the tour guide starts talking
Yeah.
and leave stuff like that. But other than that, like we're more than okay with like people taking photos.
Yeah,
Like,
go for it.
encourage it. I'm like,
I
"Yeah,
encourage
take
it.
photos."
Yeah. And if you
Yeah.
came because you found us through the podcast or the YouTube, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
That's a
You might
plus.
get a ghost.
You might get a
And yeah, have a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good Friday the 13th or whatever day you're listening to
We're
this.
gonna
Yes.
swing.
Yes. Thanks for listening to Chambers of the Occult. For photos, sources, or anything else mentioned during the episode, check out our website at chambersoftheoccult.com. You'll find everything you need there if you need to find yourself wanting more. You can also follow us on all our socials at Chambers of the Occult and Twitter at COT Podcast. If you have any questions, comments, recommendations, personal anecdotes, or concerns, let us know. Fill out our contact form on our website, email us at chambersoftheoccult@gmail.com, or leave us a message on our socials. We would love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed what you heard, we would greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. It is absolutely the best way to show your support. It would mean the world. Until next time.